Good morning. Let's start the day off with some breakfast pancakes. It's a simple little dish. Always good to start the day with a cooked breakfast. So basically all I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up a little bit of flour, some eggs, some milk, a bit of sugar and a little pinch of salt, and I'm going to beat that to a nice batter, and then we're going to heat it up and cook it on the Kadak here. In terms of weighing stuff out, I don't do much of that. I just kind of hazard a guess. I'm looking around the camp and I think we've got half a dozen people to feed. So I'm just going to put about that much flour in, which is probably about that much. The nice thing about this is I'm just mixing up a batter and I can cook it all off, and if everybody's still hungry, I can do the same and mix up some more. So I'm not too worried about the quantities. So about that much flour, and I'm going to put a couple of eggs in. Just crack them straight into the bowl. And then I'm going to start to, I'll add a little pinch of salt and about a teaspoonful of sugar. And I'm going to start to beat those up into the flour. I'm not going to add the milk yet, because if I add the milk now, then my batter mix is going to go a bit lumpy. So if I can work the flour into the egg solution, we end up with a little bit of a kind of a paste, a bit like dough to start off with. Now the majority of the flour is absorbed in the egg, I'm going to add a drop of milk. Again, quantities, I'm doing this by eye. And what I'm after is a consistency of a kind of double cream, really. And I'm just adding a little bit of milk at a time. Again, if you add it all at once, then you're going to end up with a lumpy batter mix. So it's stiffening up quite nicely. So I'm probably putting in about a tablespoon, or maybe a couple of tablespoons at a time, giving it a good stir around. And you'll see the lumps kind of start to form, but doing it this way we can knock the lumps out of the batter. Okay, so I've added a bit of milk to my beaten eggs and flour, and I'm beginning to get the consistency that I'm after. That's a little bit thick. I'm going to just wet that down a little bit, because when I start to cook it, it will find its own level. I'm also just going to add about half a teaspoon of baking powder, and that will serve to lighten up the pancakes and make them a little more fluffy. So I'll just fold in the last of the milk and beat it up. It's a good idea to let the batter sit for 3 or 4 minutes, and I think what that does is it lets the starch in the flour rest, and it just kind of aids a better consistency of pancake at the end of it. So I should just wait for this to come up to heat, and I'm going to just put on a little drizzle of olive oil over the surface. So there we've got kind of the consistency of double cream, I'd say. So I want to drop about a tablespoon. You can hear it sizzling already. About a tablespoon for each pancake. And again, when using non-stick pans, always use wooden or plastic implements. There's no point in shelling out good money for quality camping gear if you're going to scratch all the Teflon off in a matter of minutes. Oh, look, we're camping on a hill, so I've got kind of left-handed pancakes. This is great. It's actually the first time I've cooked on a Kadak. Right, okay, so that's 6 breakfast pancake cooked in what, 5 minutes, something like that. Again, all I did is I used a quantity of plain flour, 2 eggs, probably about a quarter pint of milk, pinch of salt, teaspoon of sugar, and a little bit of baking powder. Mix it up. Ideally let the batter rest for a couple of minutes, give the chance for the flour to do its thing, and then you chuck them onto a hot non-stick pan and we're good to go. And what we got to eat them with? Well, they're pancakes, like I said, butter, maple syrup, jam, honey. We haven't got any of that. We've got some lemon and some sugar. Right, so let's plate them up. So I've been Josh Sutton, the Guyrope Gourmet, cooking up a camping breakfast with Camping Live. Happy cooking, folks.